Hello, my name is Dale Russell. I'm the chair of the social work department, as many of you know. Welcome to the 140A practice sequence. This is a critical juncture on the part of our undergraduate students, and we were excited about the fact that you're going to be teaching this in this sequence, and best of luck to you in the process.
Hey, my name is Sylvester Bowie, and I'm the undergraduate program director. Welcome to Teaching 140A, and we look forward to you having a wonderful semester in spring 2018. Welcome.
This 30-minute video is to aid you in dealing with the expectations of this course, looking at the marriage between our practice sequences and field, and getting students ready for field. So hopefully this 30-minute video will be a precursor and will help in preparation for your work in this course.
I'm so excited that you're teaching this 140A course. And so this brief video that we're doing, instead of trying to meet with all of you as a group, this is a new course for a lot of you. Some people have taught this before, and thanks for the work that you're doing. We wanted to show some connection between this course and the rest of the field program. So that is why we have decided to go this route, and you can leisurely watch this video and sort of get the main idea of what the kind of things you should be thinking about during the course of the semester as you teach this 140A, a critical part of the 140 series of courses, especially as it relates to the field internship experience that our student will have. Let me again identify, like you have had the introduction from personnel already, but like the key personnel you should be aware of, including program director Dr. Russell, me as your undergraduate director, the field director Mimi Lewis, many of you are acquainted with her, and then there's Kelly Moore, who is the undergraduate field coordinator, and Melissa Moganzo, who is the program advisor. So these are the key personnel that you need to be aware of, that will look to work with you during the course of the year, but especially this spring semester as you teach the 140A. The 140A series of courses, of course, starts with the A, then continues with BC, and though the BC courses are when the students are in field. So obviously 140A is preparing students for the field experience that they'll have. And of course, students aren't in field placement yet during the 140A, but they're actively getting ready, and they're getting ready for field in the spring, as well as for the summer intensive, because some students will be participating in the summer intensive program in the summer of 2018, and of course the regular semester during 2018. So a way to think about the layout of where students are is that in their junior year, they're taking your course, the 140A, and so they have no practice class in the fall, which should have been in the January, May segment, but now in the I'm sorry, not January, May, but that would be September, December section. But in the January, May segment that they're starting, which is spring, they're having their first practice class, which is the 140A. and then in their senior year, they'll have 140 BC, and they'll be in field starting with the 140B and culminating with the 140C. So again, I think we can't overemphasize how critical the 140A is, and that's the course that you're teaching in the spring, and part of the reason for doing this video. While the curriculum itself doesn't specifically or officially address field education, the field office is very active in working with student during this field semester. And again, the key people that will be working with student then will be the field director, who is Mimi Lewis, the field coordinator, who is Kelly Richmond Moore, and they will be hiring a summer field support worker, and that person isn't known yet, but somebody will be hired to carry that function. So semester, the field office will be doing a number of things, and these are critical just for your awareness. So the field office will host BSW field orientations, and what I really mean is that there will be specific times, dates and times that are announced for field orientation for students, for BSW students, which will we're primarily talking about the students in the 140A series of courses. The field office will also process BSW field applications. They'll refer students to field placements, and they'll also monitor the student field interview. And then the fifth thing that the field office will do is set the students up to begin field following in the following fall. So spring, during the time they're in 140A, to prepare the students to get ready for that field experience in the fall. We've mentioned Melissa Moganzo previously as our student advisor. She advises both undergrad and graduate students. And so it is important for you to be aware of her function, because her role is critical in this process. So in addition to the field office oversight, the social work student advisor is also working with the student, and students need to have a host of prerequisites and requirements prior to entering the field, and part of Melissa's job is to work with these students to apprise them, to inform them, and to make them aware through a number of different ways that this is done. Again, the student advisor is Melissa, and she meets with every student taking 140A to ensure that they're ready to go. As student advisor, she offers guidance, assistance, tips, support, help, and advice. That's her role, a critical part in all of this. So next thing I want to talk about the 140A class discussion, and it is really kind of important that you be aware of certain realities concerning 140A. One, students will be excited as much as they'll be anxious about all aspects of their field journey. You know, what's going to happen, what kind of placement, like will I find, will I be able to, all those kind of questions. So a lot of anxiety in addition to the excitement. Students will be exploring what it means to be a professional, and of course in a lot of instances, they do not know what to expect. So part of your role as the 140A instructor will be to work with students to process some of these anxieties, to process some of this excitement, to help them deal with their exploration. Student will go to a comprehensive field orientation, and this will be in early February, and this will be necessary to process their reaction to this class that they're taking, the 140A class that they're taking with you. And so one of the things we ask is that you allow for some amount of time for this discussion to happen in your class, where students are trying to figure out how 140A and the stuff that they're covering in 140A will fit into the field experience that they are being prepped for, starting with this orientation in early February. And again, like, your role as 140A instructor will be critical in facilitating. So in terms of the BSW field placement timeline, there is a field placement timeline that requires students to do many activities, and a few activities are recommended but not required, while some of these are listed in the following slides to come along. So again, there are activities and timeline for students, and the field office, the social work program office, and the advising office, working collaboratively, will sort of make sure that this goes as smoothly as possible. You'll hear of announcements coming your way, but the students will get direct communication on this, and they're required to attend and to participate in certain kind of activities along the way. So let's start with the field orientation, and 3 separate orientation are offered, and the dates below. Let me kind of back up and just say, like, these dates, the students were given these dates back in October, so they are aware of these dates. It's on the field calendar. This is not something that you need to worry yourself about as instructors of the 140A class, but this is just to make you aware that this is going on. I should also just make this important point that we're not expecting you to excuse your student to attend an orientation. There are like a number of dates, and it's the student's responsibility and obligation to find one that will fit their schedule. You're not expected to excuse students to attend these events. So these are the dates that students can choose from to attend. Starting in January 29, January 30, and February 1. And again, the time varies, and so it is the student's responsibility and obligation to find a time that will fit in their schedule. No expectation that you excuse students to attend the field orientation. Then on February 14th, and some of you are field instructors, so not only are you teaching this course, but you might have worked as a field instructor in the past, or you are currently, so you are aware of the field fair, and that is scheduled for February 14th from 9 to noon. This is not a mandatory event, but it is highly recommended, and again, Wednesday, February 14th from 9 to 12 noon, and the event will be held at the Scottish Rite Center, 6151 8th Street here in Sacramento. And so this is the time when we'll have field agencies from all over the region show up at this event. And it is the students' opportunity to walk around to the different booths and to meet with social work at each field site. Students will also get a better idea of the kind of placement they want for a year-long internship. And, you know, while many students stay for the entire 3 hours, but individual can stay for less time if they want. It's the student choice as to how long they stay at this event. Again, student choice as to how long they stay. Talk about the other steps in this process. Again, not critical information for you, but we want to kind of keep you in the loop so you are aware of the process. A student might have a question, and if you are aware of our process and our steps, then you can help them. But of course, you can always, if there are questions about field, you can always direct them to the BSW field coordinator, Ms. Kelly Richmond Moore, or you can direct them to Mimi, who is the field director. You can direct them to the program advisor, Melissa. You can direct them to me, the undergraduate director. But again, primarily if it's field question, internship question, then the field office would address it. But you know, in some instances, these are questions that you could manage yourself with this information that we're providing you with. So the student will turn in their BSW application, and this is approximately a 10-page of information, and this is done in early March. The student then wait for a BSW field referral, and this happens around mid-March. The next step is for the agency to interview the student, and this happens sometime between March and April. If you follow in the timeline, then the next step is for the student to get accepted and then complete the acceptance paperwork, and those are the steps or the additional steps in this process. So the rule as a 140 instructor, your role, the role of the field office. So as 140A instructor, the field office relies on you to remind the student of the need to be professional in their field referral journey. And you're going to bring that out in your instructional activities as you teach the 140A. We want you to have high expectation for prompt attendance and active engagement on the part of the student. And so let's put it this way. In many ways, you are a gatekeeper for the field internship. In 140A, the student is not yet in field. Like you're teaching a course, you're observing them, like you're seeing their interaction with one another, you're seeing their response to guidance from you, like you're seeing their general attitude, skills and knowledge that they're displaying in this process. And so we as a program, we are dependent on you in a gatekeeping function before students enter into the field industry, into the field placement. And this is not something that we pull out of the hat. It's not like based on how we feel here, but we're being guided by the Council on Social Work Education, CSWE, competences. And as most of you might know, should know because I'm telling you, we just went through the reaccreditation process. We just had our site visit back in November. And so we are guided by a set of rules, so to speak, and competences. And the guidance and gatekeeping function that we are expecting of you is based on these competencies. So let's talk a little about competency one. And competency one is all about professional and ethical behavior. So, while all BSW classes teach and monitor the student competency one behavior, it is this 140A instructor whose alertness in helping the student to bridge their pre-field behavior with what is expected of them when they get in the field. So again, your awareness of this competency and the expectation, what kind of knowledge, skills, values, and attitude students should be displaying. If a student is chronically late, for example, the instructor is asked to address this very directly with the student. Because again, that has to do with ethical behavior, with professional behavior, with competency one. And this can be done through a one-on-one meeting with the student. Similarly, if the student doesn't follow directions, the instructor is asked to address this very directly with the student. And again, a one-on-one conversation is a good place to do or to have this conversation. On competency one, once the students are in a field agency, they will learn much more about competency one and exactly what it's all about. So while you don't need to know the detail of it, the next two slides outline the different components of competency one. And again, we just asking you to be, as a gatekeeper, alert to certain professional behavior manifestation and expectation on the part of the student. If I might just add here again, the reason for doing this brief video is to make you aware as a 140 instructor of the critical role that you play in preparing our students for their 140B and 140C experience and their field internship. And if they're not cutting it in 140A, then we would prefer to be taking corrective action than to be sending them on to 140B, C, sending them into the field while they're not prepared for that. So your role and function as gatekeepers cannot be overemphasized. The competency 1.1 talk about ethical decision making, and again, this is applying the NASW Code of Ethics, the relevant laws and regulation. And this is really about modeling ethical decision making, ethical conduct of research, and the additional of the Code of Ethics as appropriate to the context, the addition of the Code of Ethics to it. So 1.2 is to engage in productive problem solving and appropriate conflict resolution, and uses open communication. And these are the kind of things that you're observing in the class with your activities that you're doing with the student in your 140A class. Then the ability to use reflection and self-regulation to manage personal values and maintain professionalism within practice situation. Then we move talks about demonstrating professional demeanor and behavior, appearance, oral and written and electronic communication. So in your 140A, like, you're going to begin to talk about dressing for the work, dressing for success, oral and written communication, the use of electronic communication, the use of things like email and social media. It is, again, in terms of your gatekeeping function, starting to observe how students are using these and how they're reacting to what's expected of them. Use of technology ethically and appropriately to facilitate practice outcome, and then the use of field instruction, supervision, and consultation to guide professional judgment and behavior. One of the things that I should mention is that the NASW Code of Ethics had an important and substantive revise over the last year. And if you do not have a copy of the new revised Code of Ethics, I will encourage you, when you get a chance, if you're a 148 instructor, please stop by my office, 4008 Mariposa, and I will give you a copy of the new standard, the new Code of Ethics from NASW. They are available. You know, you can order them from NASW. I think they're like available for a small fee, but excuse me, I do have a few copies, and I'm willing to give individuals teaching the 140A copies. So if you stop by my office at any time while I'm here, I'll surely be willing to give you a copy. But again, you know, critically updated information on the use of technology and just like significant parts of the Code of Ethics for NASW has been adjusted, and like you want to be aware and on top of some of this. All right, so here is where we encourage you, just like we encourage our students, to ask questions. If on the answer to certain issues that might arise in your 140A class, then please ask, have these asked from or off the field office. You begin to relate that the student is what is doing in 140A to what they'll do in the field next year. For instance, they'll need to be self-reflective in 140A. As well, they'll need to work hard to produce adequate written work. You know, so when I say the ask from the field office of you, we're asking you to start having high expectation of your students, being aware of what it is they should be doing as 140A student in prep for 140B, and being self-reflective is like critical. Producing good quality, high quality written work is important. If you think a student needs extra help in any of these areas, please ask for support with this. You know, ask for the intervention. Since it's not like a field issue yet, then like you should consult with the undergraduate director or with the advisor if it's an advising issue. If you think that the student need tutoring, you know, talk with the advising office, Ms. Moganzo, because we have tutoring help and support for students, and if there is the need for the director to have an intervention, like we'll do this. And you know, if it's issue concerning behavior that will affect field, then you know, talk with the field office. Feel free to consult again either with the field office or with me as the director of the undergraduate program, or with the program advisor. Please, you know, these are our ask of you, and our ask is that we're asking you to be willing to ask for help where the intervention is needed or necessary. And so as I kind of come to the end to wrap up this video, taking a little longer than I wanted to, but I think you get the drift and get the gist of my intent here. want to just make the point how critical this 140A class is, and for you as a 140A instructor, what it is that we're looking for you to be doing in this 140A. The bottom line is about student preparedness. It's about students' readiness for the field experience. And we want our students to be well prepared for their field experience. And your effort in all of this will be most critical. So we really want to thank you for your assistance in this effort. And we really look forward to you having a successful semester teaching 140A, and for our intervention to make this process smooth and to have like just a wonderful experience. Again, if you have questions, you know, the field director's information is here. The BSW field coordinator's information is here. The undergraduate director's information is here. Contact us by email, by phone, by any means necessary. And remember, we're in this together, and we welcome you, and we look forward to your successful spring 18 work teaching 140A. Bless.